Howdy, everybody. Welcome back to the next episode of Five Downs with Fannon. As always, I am your host, Spencer Fannon. Thank you for joining me on this conference, or I should say, college football playoff semifinal and NFL wildcard weekend show. We've reached nearly the end of college football, which sucks. But we've reached the start of the NFL playoffs, which is awesome. What also is kind of rough is we did not get over 500 last week for the first time since Halloween. We went 2-3 last week, so we are now 27-28 through 11 weeks of doing these picks. So hopefully we can right the ship, get back, get over 500 for the first time in 2.5 months. Yeah, 2.5 months. Yeah, it's 2026. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season, a wonderful New Year's and stuff. But yeah, we'll just do a quick recap of last week's show, and then we'll get right into it. Obviously, last week, as I said, we went 2-3 in our picks. First one we had. Actually, I got this week's picks on my notebook. I should have last week's picks. There we go. We took the over 40.5 in Miami and Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. We did not get that because Miami just dominated that game. That might have been. No, that wasn't the most shocking result of the quarterfinals, just because there were plenty of other ones. But it was pretty insane how dominating Miami's defense was. We did win the under in the Orange Bowl of 51.5 between Oregon and Texas Tech. Obviously, that was just a defensive beatdown, really, by Oregon. I mean, they shut out Texas Tech. Texas Tech didn't score anything, so that was an easy sweat-free bet and such. Third down was probably, I don't know if it might not have been the most shocking, because I'm sure many people had the win, but how they won is shocking. In the Rose Bowl with Alabama losing to Indiana, we had Indiana minus 6.5 or 7. The bet line was 7. I said to try and buy it down to 6.5, and did so, and we got that right because Indiana just dominated the game. It's probably like the most shocking result for sure, in the sense of like just how badly worked over Alabama was against Indiana. I mean, they just got destroyed. It was crazy. I mean, kudos to Kurt Signetti, kudos to all those guys and stuff. But that's that was our second win of the week, and unfortunately our final win of the week. Fourth down, we had the under of 55.5 in the Sugar Bowl of Ole Miss and Georgia. I thought that was going to hit. There were only 6 points scored in the first quarter of that game. Unfortunately, there were 30 points scored in the fourth quarter. So yeah, and it ended up being 73 points scored. So yeah, it went over big time, but it's like there was only, I mean, yeah, the first and third quarters, I think the first quarter was only 6. The third quarter, I think it was only 10 points were scored. Let me actually check that. 10 points were scored in the third quarter. It went 6 points in the first, 27 in the second. So you started to feel a little sweaty there, but then only 10 points were scored in the third. So you're like, okay, but then 30 points scored in the fourth quarter. So that one way over, and it was like, okay, fine. And then the fifth down was the Battle of the NFC West, Seattle against San Francisco. I took San Francisco money line, and Seattle just wiped them out. Another defensive domination. San Francisco only scoring 3 points and everything like that. So that's the recap of last week. Went 2-3. Not super crazy misbets, I should say. And stuff, and hopefully we can right the ship here in this week, and we might as well get right into it. We got the 2 college football semifinal games, so those 2 are going to be in there, and then we've got 3 NFL wildcard games. So let's just get right into it, and we're going to the realm of college football for first down. All right, first down. It's probably the game that no one really thought that we would get in the college football playoff semifinal. You got number 10 Miami facing number 6 Ole Miss. You got arguably the 2 Cinderellas of this college football playoff. I'm not sure, honestly, who is more of the Cinderella in this. Obviously, like Ole Miss, obviously is ranked 6th. They're a higher seed, but they beat Georgia, number 3. So they did upset somebody, um, and stuff. Obviously, Miami has beaten 2 higher ranked teams. They're 10th. They beat Texas A&M, and then they clobbered Ohio State, who was the 2 seed. Or yeah, 2 seed. So I guess it's Miami, but it just feels like Ole Miss should be the Cinderella, just because of everything that's gone on since really the regular season ended back in at the end of November, early December, with Lane Kiffin going to LSU, all the craziness that's going on down there in Oxford and stuff. So even though Ole Miss is the higher ranked seed, I'm considering them the more Cinderella, just because of the exigent, the other situation, the situations outside, circumstances outside the program. Now, betting breakdown: Miami is a 3.5 point favorite. Over under is set at 52.5. This game will be played Thursday night in Arizona, Fiesta Bowl at kickoff right around 7:30 Eastern. So probably closer to like 7:45, just because they always have the weird pregame show thing. Obviously, Miami, I think they're favored, namely because of how dominant their defenses look this postseason. I mean, they've given up, I think it's 17 points total. They gave up 3 to, what is it? They gave up 3 to Texas A&M, and then 14 to Ohio State. So they've given up 17 points total. Now, Ole Miss has scored 80 points combined, so they've averaged 40 points in their 2 games. They put 41 on Tulane and then 39 against Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. So, but looking at this, I mean, the bet I'm making, actually, I'm taking the under 52.5. I think there's going to be, Ole Miss's defense is okay. Yes, they gave up 34 points to Georgia. I think Georgia's just a more bruising, consistent offense than Miami, and stuff. And I think Miami's. It's gonna be actually a really fun game to watch. I really can't wait for this on Thursday night. It's tough because I'm as I said, under 52.5, because Miami's offense is explosive, but that defense is so good. Will they be able to hold Ole Miss's offense down to only, like, I don't know, 20 points? I could see this really being like a 27 to 20, 27-21 type game. So, and then it goes under. It's high scoring in this somewhat, but it's like college, it's a lower scoring. This would be lower scoring, like a 27-21 type game. I think Miami, with the way that they're playing, I think on both lines of scrimmage, they've got the edge, and I think that the edge rushers for Miami are going to be able to contain and corral Trinidad Chambliss, who I think is the MVP of the college football playoff thus far. I think he might, like, those two, like Ruben Bain and the other guys, are going to be able to corral Trinidad Chambliss, control him. He's not going to be able to make those Mahomesian-esque plays that he did against Georgia at the end of that game. I think so. I'm taking the under, because I just don't know if Ole Miss is going to be able to score enough. Like, plus they've got a really good kicker in Ole Miss, so it's like, I think Miami's going to know that. They're going to certainly not want to let them move the ball at all, but they're also going to, like, bow up in the sense of, like, okay, we're going to make sure you just can't score touchdowns. If you want to kick field goals all day, that's fine, because our offense is good enough to go against your defense. But they can keep them out of the end zone. That's going to be obviously the biggest thing for either team. But I think this game is going to come down to the line of scrimmage, as most games do. And Miami, I think, has the edge on both offensive line and defensive line. And I think because of that, Miami's defense is going to be able to neutralize Chambliss, Lacey, and the Ole Miss offense enough to keep this number under the 52.5. So there you go. I can't wait for this game. I think it's going to be a really good game and stuff. It's going to see who this who what which team the Cinderella slipper crystal shoe fits. So there you go. That was first down. Let's head on to the second college football playoff semifinal for second down. All right, second down time and second college football playoff semifinal. A Big Ten rematch from earlier in the year when Indiana went on the road to Eugene, beat Oregon when Oregon was ranked number 3 in the country, won 30-20. We got a rematch probably against, well, okay, if you're if of the teams that are left defensively, I probably rank Miami number 1. I honestly think Indiana and Oregon are probably interchangeable, to be honest. Maybe Indiana has a slight edge, and then Ole Miss obviously 4th. So I think that this is going to be interesting. It's at the Peach Bowl. It's Friday night. Again, 7:30, roughly 7:30 Eastern kick, 7:45, somewhere in that range. Betting breakdown: Indiana is a 3.5-point favorite. Over under set of 46.5. And while both of these teams were dominant on the defensive side in their quarterfinal games, giving up a combined 3 points, and they scored. They each score. I mean, Oregon scored 23, Indiana scored 38, so it was a total of 61 points and stuff. I actually think this game is going to go over. I think this game is going to go over the 46.5. I think it's going to be a 27-20, 24-23. It's going to be a close game. And I think it's going to go over this total. I think both offenses, they're going to do enough. Now, Oregon just did apparently lose their main running back, Davison, to a broken collarbone. At least that's what people are reporting. So it looks like he's going to be out for the rest of the playoff. It's a big loss because he was pretty effective in their quarterfinal game against Texas Tech, and that really good defense. I think Oregon is going to be able to move the ball. They're going to be able to put up points, and I do think Indiana is going to be able to do the same. I don't think it's going to be a shootout, but I think it's going to be high scoring enough that it goes over this 46.5 total. I think that's just a little low. It's teasing you like, especially obviously with the two teams that when they just played, they gave up a combined 3 points and stuff. So of course people are going to be hammering the under. So maybe you wait a little longer until you get closer to kickoff. Maybe the number comes down a little bit. But I think that both teams are going to be able to get into the 20s some way, somehow. And it's going to be that sweat. And then there's going to be a final possession where somebody kicks a field goal. It's going to be just getting over. It's going to be that like a 27-20, a 27-23, 27-24 type of game where like one score gets you over that number. Because I think both offenses are going to be amped up. They're going to want to prove that they can go against these defenses. And the defenses are going to make plays. But I think that the offense is going to do enough to get over this number. As for a side, I don't know. I think this is going to be a really good game, rematch of earlier in the regular season and everything like that. I don't know if it's. I mean, that one went 30-20, so that was 50 points. So there you go. But I think long season. Everybody kind of amped up, certainly on defense, wanting to continue that momentum. And I think there's going to be some miscues on defense that's going to allow the points to be scored. So I'm taking the over 46.5 in the Peach Bowl, the final college football semifinal. So that was second down. So we're done with college football for this episode. Let's head to the NFL and wild card weekend for third down and beyond. All right, third down time. We're in the NFL. We're in wild card weekend. And we're going to Saturday night. Saturday night, around 8 Eastern kickoff, 8:10 Eastern kickoff, whatever. You got Bears-Packers round 3. Now, these two teams have played two exceedingly tight games, both coming down to essentially the final play of the game. The first matchup was up in Lambeau. Bears had a chance to tie the game with like 30 seconds left. Caleb Williams throws an interception. The final play is a kneel down. Then 2 weeks later, the Bears win on a walk-off overtime winner, Caleb Williams touchdown and stuff. And quick betting breakdown. Obviously, the line kind of shows this as of what I had it as with DraftKings. Packers are 1.5 point favorites. Over under is set at 45.5, so it's a low total. I mean, last week in their last game, it was 38 points total. It was 22-16. I think the under was like 47, close to that. Actually, it was one of the last game, or it was one of the picks we made a couple weeks ago. Yeah, it was 46.5. So under 46.5, that went down pretty easily and stuff. And I'm flip-flopping on this. I initially wrote down I was going to take the under. I'm taking the over. I'm taking the over 45.5. I think there will be points scored in this game. Not a massive amount, but both defenses are either injured or injured and bad. The Packers are just injured. The Bears are injured and bad. Now, a lot of that badness comes from injuries on top of the fact that they have no pass rush. But both offenses are playing at a pretty solid level. Obviously, the Bears had a rough one against the Lions, and obviously, the Packers just rested most of their guys against the Vikings and stuff. So I don't really – maybe I'd take a little more with the Bears because they played their starters. They got off to a really slow start. They put it on in the fourth quarter. They're not going to be able to do that in this game. They're going to need to get out to a fast start and stuff. And I think that they will. I think both offenses will be able to move the ball. Obviously, it's going to come down to red zone defense. Bears, the last game, the Packers went 0 for 5 in the red zone. I think they only had they had 3 field goals. They didn't have a touchdown in that. There were a couple turnovers that the Bears got to keep them out of the end zone. The Bears defense, has stepped up in some cases in the red zone. I think against the Packers, obviously, like I said, the Packers went 0 for 5 in the red zone. Against the Lions, they only gave up the 1 touchdown, but against the 49ers, they gave up 42.6 touchdowns. So it's like, which are you going to get and stuff? Jordan Love is probably back for this game. He missed the last 2 plus games with a concussion that he suffered against the Bears in that last meeting. I'm guessing Christian Watson is probably going to be back to pretty much full health. Josh Jacobs as well. So it's going to be difficult. Looks like the Bears are going to have Rome Odunze back and possibly Kyler Gordon, their nickel back. So teams are getting healthy, but even without Micah Parsons, I actually trust the Packers defense a little bit better just because I do think that they've got a better overall defense without Micah Parsons than the Bears do. I think the Bears are such heavily reliant on takeaways that they don't get like 2 or 3 takeaways. It's going to be and Dennis Allen against Matt LaFleur. I'm taking Matt LaFleur as a play caller. Now on the other side, I still take Ben Johnson over Jeff Hatley, but I think it's a little closer of a situation when you compare the offense versus defense in those matchups. But yeah, it's again taking the over 45.5. I do think that points will be scored. I think it's going to be like a 28-24 type game. It's going to be a close game. Probably come down to the last 6-7 minutes and something like that. It's Saturday night game on Prime and stuff, so it's a standalone game, all that. So I think it's going to be a really fun game to watch. Can't wait for it. I'm going to be nervous as all hell watching it and everything like that. But there you go. It's over 45.5 on this one. I think points will be scored in that. So that's the Saturday night game. Let's head on to 4th down, and we head to Sunday for the final 2. So all right, 4th down time. We're on to Sunday of NFL wildcard weekend, and we're going to what I think might be the most exciting game as a casual NFL watcher. Like, obviously, I'm a Bears fan, so the Bears-Packers, it's going to be exciting. I'm also going to be nerve-wracked to hell watching that game. But as an NFL fan, I think this game between the Bills and the Jaguars is going to be awesome. You've got the Jaguars, who are the number 3 seed, facing the Bills, the number 6 seed. Bills, which was a heavy or a big time favorite for the Super Bowl to get to the Super Bowl this year, not even win their division. The Jaguars were, I think, the second or third team in the AFC South, probably the second team behind the Texans. I don't know if anyone really saw what the Colts were going to do this past year, jumping out to that 7-1 record at the start. I mean, Trevor Lawrence looks like the generational talent he was projected as coming out of college. Liam Cohen is, if it wasn't for Mike Vrabel, he'd probably be the coach of the year this year and such, being all this. I think this is going to be a really fun game to watch. I can't wait for it. It's Sunday afternoon. It's a new 1 Eastern game. Quick betting breakdown. Bills are 1.5-point favorites. Over-under is set at a high 52.5. Now, Bills' defense has not been good. They might be getting some guys back from injury. The Bills' offense has been good because you have Josh Allen, but the Jaguars' offense has been rolling the last 4 or 5 weeks. I mean, Trevor Lawrence has been playing at an MVP level the last 4 or 5 weeks. And the Jaguars' defense is based on takeaways, but they can still make plays. They can still stop guys. So I'm actually give me Duval County. I'm taking the Jaguars plus 1.5 in this game. I know I'm going against Josh Allen. He can be Superman at any time, but with the way Trevor Lawrence is playing, I think he can match that. I think Trevor Lawrence has the chance to match what Josh Allen does. And because of that, I'm going to take the better defense, which I think is Jacksonville, plus, it's just popped into my head, but Jacksonville's kicker, I think it's Will Little. Let me Jacksonville. I can type. I think it's Will or Cam Little. Cam Little. He's kicked a 67 and a 68-yard field goal this year. So it's like they know essentially as soon as they cross midfield, as soon as they get to the 45-yard line and in, they're going to get points. So it's like that takes a huge load off of everything else and stuff. So I think it actually might come down to that. I think it might come down to one of those types of kicks. And because of that, so I think quarterbacks, I don't know if they even out. I think Josh Allen is still a better quarterback, but I think the way they're playing right now, Trevor Lawrence is right there with him. I would take the Jaguars defense, and I would take their kicking game right now. Also, I don't know if I trust Sean McDermott in a big playoff game over, even though Liam Cohen, this is his first playoff game. So it's like, this is going to be difficult. But I'm taking the Jaguars. I'm taking Duval County plus 1.5 in this game. I can't wait for this game. It's gonna be a really good palate cleanser for whatever happens Saturday night. But yeah, let's go Jags. Let's go plus 1.5 there. So that's fourth down. Let's head to the final game of this show. It's not the final game of the weekend, but it's the final game of this show that I'm picking. We're going to fifth down. All right, fifth down. Like I said, it's not the final game of the weekend. That's the Monday night game. But this is the afternoon game on Sunday at around 4:30 Eastern. You've got what I think a lot of people actually thought might be an NFC Championship preview preseason. You're getting in the wild card round. You got San Francisco going to Philly to face the Eagles. Quick betting breakdown. You got Eagles are 4.5-point favorites. Over under set at 45.5. And this is interesting because the San Francisco offense, I think, is really a side. Well, is Ricky Pearsall supposed to play? Is he going to be out for? I mean, yes, the problem with doing the show this early is I'm recording on a Tuesday. Saying he re-aggravated a PCL. Let's see. So, maybe, yeah. So yeah, but I mean, it looks like Trent Williams isn't going to play. Their stud left tackle and everything, but it looks like Pearsall might be out as well for the 49ers. So that could be a big issue. The San Francisco defense, they just also lost one of their linebackers, Bethune. So it's like they're just completely trashed on defense. and stuff, unfortunately. And because of that, I'm actually taking the over 44.5. I think that the Eagles are going to be able to score. I think they're going to be able to score 27, maybe 28 points, something in that range against this San Francisco defense. And I do think that the San Francisco offense is going to be able to put up a little bit of points against the Eagles, just because Kyle Shanahan. I think Kyle Shanahan is one of the best, if not the best, play caller in the NFL. Sorry, as a Bears fan, Ben Johnson, maybe that's blasphemy or something like that. But I do think Kyle Shanahan is best, if not top 2 or 3, right there with Sean McVay, maybe even Matt LaFleur and Ben Johnson right now. I'm taking the over. I think it's going to be a sweat because the Eagles' offense has just been really, really out of sorts for the entire season. But they've got so much star power that they could just snap their fingers and all of a sudden they could score 28, 32 points, 31 points. And then it's like, okay, you score 31 points. Okay, I think that I feel like the San Francisco 49ers can score 17, like, and there's your over. So it's like, there you go. I mean, I think it's more if both teams were fully healthy. Obviously, I think this number actually might be around the same because both defense, but I would lean more the under but San Francisco doesn't have any real pass rush. Their secondary is not very good, and I think that their offense is good enough to go up against Vic Fangio's defense and at least score some points. So I'm taking the over 44.5. It's going to be sweaty. I'm gonna sweat that game out that Saturday or Sunday afternoon and everything like that. But I think that's how it's going to go. I think there you go. I mean, those are the 5 picks. Just quick breakdown on them again. My first down was Miami versus Ole Miss. I have the under of 52.5. Second down is Oregon, Indiana, the second college football semifinal. I have over 46.5. Third down was Bears-Packers round 3. I actually have the over 45.5 in that game. Fourth down is Bills at Jaguars. I have the Jaguars plus 1.5. And fifth down, 49ers at Eagles. I have over 44.5. So those are the 5 picks. We'll see if we can get over 500. As I said, in 27 and 28 in the 11 previous weeks that we've done these pick'em shows and all that. So hopefully we can get to 500 or better. I can't wait for these games to come out. I think they're going to be all 5 are going to be really good games to watch. So football fans, college football, NFL fans are going to be eating really good on these next couple days and stuff. But that's it. That's all for this show. We'll be back next time, probably talking about divisional round games and maybe the college football playoff championship, depending on how many games we like and stuff in the next week or so. But thank you again so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment. Really can help the channel grow. Really trying to get this off the ground and everything like that. But thanks again so much for watching. If you have a game that you want me to talk about or an angle you want me to talk about, leave a comment in there. I'll read them. We'll talk about them on the next show and everything like that. But thank you again for watching. And until next time, good luck with the bets. And again, it's not my fault if they lose, but I get credit if I'm right. So there you go. Enjoy.